So, hey, Dale, I got a question for you.
All right.
I think maybe you could answer. So, what's the one thing that we can do now that we won't be able to do in heaven?
That's pretty easy. It's evangelizing, talking to other people about Jesus. Because everything else we can do better in heaven than we can do here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Jesus kind of told us that. Actually didn't kind of. He told us that being able to do that here when he left, right? He left us with commands to go into all the nations, to go to people, to talk to people about him, to teach, to make disciples and do all that. So he was very concerned about us reaching people. And I think we all know that Jesus did that because Jesus loved people. We watch his travels around, and he took time to stop and heal the sick and talk to people, and he really loved people. He was most aggravated. The only times we really see him get mad was when people were being abused.
Absolutely.
And Matthew 9, Matthew's account of Jesus' life, Matthew 9, it gives us a glimpse into this. And towards the end of the chapter, Matthew tells us they're traveling around, they're walking with Jesus, and he says they're going from village to village, and Jesus is healing the sick. Right? And it says he has a great compassion on them. And he used these two words. I love these two words. He said he had compassion because they were helpless and harassed. And I think sometimes in life, I know I've felt that way before. I'm sure you have, to where maybe you feel helpless or hopeless, and you feel harassed just by life, right? At times. And so Matthew said he was helping all these people, but as Jesus looked, there were a lot of people that came to him for healing. And I'm sure there were people that never got as close to him as they wanted to. And Jesus, I'm going to guess, felt that because he made this comment. He said, the harvest is plentiful. And what he means by that is there's a lot of sick, hurting people out here that need healing, right? And he kind of lamented, he said, but the workers are few. Meaning there weren't enough, at that time, there weren't enough people to send out to help all of those. And I don't think, maybe you'd agree with me, I don't think much has changed in 2,000 years.
No, and it's really sad that in 2,000 years later, it hasn't changed.
Right.
The harvest is still plentiful, and the workers are still few.
Right. And we see that. We have the advantage of living in an agricultural area, rural. More rural. So these fields out back here, they're covered in snow right now, so you can't see it. But these fields towards the harvest time, there's a lot of beans or a lot of corn, and they need to be harvested. And we have tools and that. And the guy comes by with the tractor, but back then, it would take somebody a long time to harvest a field that large. And so there's a lot of work to be done. And so Jesus is calling us, saying, hey, and we can look around here around Fort Dodge. Sunday mornings, there's 20,000 people sitting in this town that don't know Jesus, that don't have the hope for eternity that comes with a relationship with him. So there's a very plentiful harvest. But Jesus said the workers are few. So as we go into 2021, we want to do something to change that.
Yeah, and one thing that we talked about a lot last year is with COVID and the shutdowns that happened, and then social distancing, which is actually still being pushed today, that it's hard to talk to people about the Lord because you have to have that close proximity to be able to make a difference in people's lives. Absolutely. And we're being told now to stay away. So it really bothered me, and we talked about it a lot in staff meeting, that I felt like among Christian people, evangelism wasn't happening. The other thing is that we were told to stay safe. And Jesus never used that term. In fact, I think it was the opposite. And I'm not necessarily talking about COVID, but just the idea that we don't want to play it safe with people, because usually we don't want to talk to people about the Lord because it might be risky and we might have our feelings hurt, or they might not like us.
We don't want to be told no.
Right. We don't want to be told no. So we want to change that and work to make a difference for our people and to get back, or maybe for some to get to the first time where we're talking to other people about the Lord. There's a lot of different ways we can do that, but we know we have to do it because it's what we were left here for, and it's what Jesus told us to do before he left. He told us to go into all the world. So we want to make that a part of our church's DNA. We're a friendly church and a welcoming church. We also want to be a church that brings people to Christ and does an even better job than we're doing of that. So we are starting with a 5-week sermon series that's going to emphasize that and kind of give us some ideas on how we can do that in our various areas of life, like in our family, where we work, where we go, where we are in life. But then we don't want it to stop there. We want this to be a continuing part of our church family and part of our DNA that we just naturally reach people for Jesus.
Right. And so we're putting a name to this. We're calling our whole evangelism efforts this idea of reach one, with one
Right.
being an acronym for our neighbors everywhere.
Right.
We want to reach our neighbors all around us. And, studies will tell you that the people are waiting for an invitation. Right?
Right.
Most people go to church not because they saw a flyer, not because they saw a Facebook post, not any of that. It's because
Not even because of the great pastors
right,
that
absolutely,
they know are there.
right.
Amazingly.
I know they do it because someone took the time.
Yeah, a
To
friend
say, hey, why don't
invited.
you come to church with me? Or hey, let me tell you about Jesus. Right? It's that one-to-one. And sometimes it gets too easy with social media. I'll just put a post out there and I'll
Right.
share. It's great that we share videos and it's great that we do watch parties. That's awesome. We should keep doing that. But to really start to make a change in people's lives, to really reach people, it takes a one-on-one conversation, a personal invitation. Hey, come
Right.
to church with me. So we want to build that. You talked about DNA. We want to build that into that our church is known as a church that is invitational. We'll go out and
Right.
have those conversations with people.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a personality transplant. It's not like you have to be somebody you're not.
Right.
But we can each work within our own personality and bring people to Jesus. And the easiest way is to invite them to church, but then we want to go beyond that too. And just having that emphasis on that one person that we are thinking about that we're going to reach in 2021. So that's what that Reach One stands for. It's our neighbors everywhere, but it's also focusing on one person, but maybe having a general idea too of who we can lead and bring to Christ.
Right. So yeah, this coming Sunday we'll be starting with that, and we hope you're able to join us and already thinking of those people who you're going to be praying for and those people who you plan on inviting, because this rolls right into Easter and an important part of our church life and that celebration of the empty tomb. So we hope you're able to make it for these 5 weeks, whether you're sitting in the room here or watching online.
Yeah, that's a lot more than filling the church. We want to fill heaven is what our goal is.
Absolutely. Well, good. Well, great. Well, we'll see you coming this week then.
Thanks.
Yep.